I think we're about halfway through practice period. Could that be true?
Wow.
Maybe we're halfway through our lives. Maybe we're, who knows? But time is time, and time is timelessness. And pay attention, don't waste this life. So please, if you're in the practice period, reaffirm your intentions or see if they've moved and what feels true in this moment, in this deep vowing space. If you're, quote, not in the practice period, affirm your intentions. And we'll all help each other. There's a sitting on Sunday. Please come. If you're in the practice period especially, try to be there. Do your very best. If you're coming in person, please take a COVID test before you come. We're just going to do this just to be safe. If you're in the practice period, stay in touch. Make sure you're in touch with your practice period partners. These things are all, it's just all the ways that we help each other remember. Because if you're anything like me, I need lots of reminders and lots of good spiritual friends in the whole world to help me keep remembering what my deepest heart's yearning is. Let's do the before lecture chant. An unsurpassed, penetrating, and perfect Dharma is rarely met with, even in 100,000 million kalpas. Having it to see and listen to remember and accept, I vow to taste the truth of the Tathagata's words. So here we are. The stupa's up in the air, came out of the earth. Constance gave a great talk on Tuesday. It'll be online. Constance is going to give 2 great talks next week. Don't miss them. And for today and on Sunday, you're going to have to put up with me because we're also right at the heart of the second part of the Lotus Sutra, of the ultimate dimension. So I don't want to go too fast here, and besides, I'm having fun. I'm having like clunks all the time of, you just keep, it's like life. You just keep entering and being entered, and insights, and wow, and oh, and So that's what I'm going to do today. Plus, I found the book that is my most favorite of the Lotus Sutra, Visions of Awakening Space and Time, Dogen and the Lotus Sutra. It was on my shelf, and this is the book that when I first found this, I thought, this was 20 years ago, this book is going to explain everything, which it actually does. But it's like, I bet I've read this book 6 times because it's really dense. So I'm going to translate some of it, and on Sunday at the sit, because Dogen did a fascicle on the Lotus Sutra. So I want to weave some of this together because it will help us understand Dogen, who's the founder of this lineage, and his language and playfulness and creativity, and as we've noticed, the Lotus Sutra does kind of play with you. Okay. I have here the ceremony in the air, the great stupa of abundant treasures Buddha. I know you did some of this on Tuesday, but I'm going to do it again because it feels like, anyway. I have the ceremony in the air. Warning, the world is not what we think. So without warning, here's a little review, but if you're like me, I can hear it a million times. Stupa comes up out of the air, out of the earth. It comes up out of the earth and out of the past. And it says it's half the diameter of the earth. It's big, incomprehensibly big. You just have to keep letting go and letting go of the mind that measures. Please measure carefully when you're a nurse and you're giving a shot to somebody, or medicine, or there's a place, absolutely. When you're cutting a carrot, be careful of the knife and the everything. And the world is holographic. We're sitting in the middle of this amazing mandala, the great above and below in every direction. It's round and it's open. And we're sitting, each person, right in the center of it. And then we just keep saying, no, but wait a minute, this is, Lotus Sutra just says, yeah, and. Okay. So, out of this enormous sutra, out of this enormous stupa, this voice comes. Imagine it as like an owl hoot. It's like a sound that permeates time and space. And says, well done, Shakyamuni. Good work. I vowed, abundant treasures vowed, when she was a Buddha, a Bodhisattva, that when the Lotus Sutra was being taught, he would have this stupa rise up out of the ground in testimony to the truth, so that he and everyone could hear it and praise it. And that's why he's here now. And the Shakyamuni has been doing a very good job cracking opening the heart of the cosmos for us and letting us see beyond appearances, which we'll get to more in a minute. That the one causal condition, the whole reason for the existence of the world and everything in it, is to wake up all beings. To become a Buddha. To wake up to who and what we already are. And that there are infinite skillful means and transformation bodies everywhere helping us wake up. And our job is to be that, to not miss this one and precious life, is that we are part of this infinite, amazing, mysterious matrix of alive. And how do we embody it? Be with this self as alive? Be with this person as alive? Who are you? What is it? What is this world? What is it? So the assembly gets really happy. It's like, the world is open. It's exactly this, and it's like the floor opens and the walls open. And so everybody gets really happy. And the Buddha explained, Shakyamuni Buddha, that Abundant Treasures has said that if the assembly wants to see his whole body, the whole body of Buddha, we've got Shakyamuni Buddha. Pretty good dude, It's like he modeled a lot of stuff. He was a human being. He woke up in the middle of it. But if you want to see Buddha's whole body, then the Buddha teaching the sutra, me, Constance, each one of you, would have to invite to this very place all the Buddhas that embody being a Buddha throughout time and space, throughout the entire universe. So the assembly thinks that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, we'd like to see the whole body of the Buddha, right? There's a Buddha here. What's the whole body of the Buddha? What's this symbology of what's on the altar, and maybe your altar's at home? So we know Buddha emits the light from her forehead, a tuft of hair between his eyebrows, and illuminates billions and billions of worlds in every direction. And in each one, there is a Buddha with a bodhisattva attendant in each one preaching the Dharma. I was thinking this morning, oh God, I want to get to the end, but I was thinking this morning because I went to Everyday Zen last night, and Norman's preaching the Dharma, and we're here preaching the Dharma, and Constance was here preaching the Dharma on Tuesday, and at San Francisco Zen Center they're preaching the Dharma, and in synagogues they're preaching the Dharma through their language, and in temples and ashrams, and there's just everywhere the Dharma is being preached, each through its own language, and each thing is preaching its own Dharma. The leaf is preaching the Dharma of being a leaf. So billions and billions, just let your mind go into the cosmos. Those pictures of when you see those new pictures that the Hubble have taken, and they just blow your mind. Let your mind be blown. Now, one of the beautiful things is that here where Shakyamuni Buddha is on Vulture Peak, they prepared lion seats. Myra isn't here, but part of her practice period intention was about a lion. A lion seat under a great jeweled tree. So seats for all of these billions to come. But then there are billions and billions more of the neighboring worlds. And they want to come too, so you have to prepare more seats. And then that's not enough, and so there's more billions and billions. It just keeps opening and opening and opening. Until finally, instead of you're over there and I'm over here and this is here and that's your seat and my seat, is the whole world is illumined as a Buddha field. As a Buddha field of light and energy and goodness, and every sound and every word is preaching the Dharma of love and interconnection and non-separation. Can you feel it? I mean, really. Okay, now one of the really sweet things in this is throughout, the Buddha instructs their bodhisattvas, anyway, it doesn't, is would you please go ask Shakyamuni Buddha, this human being, how they're doing? It's so sweet that in this vast cosmos of isness, there's this relationship of just saying, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? How are you doing? So there's something very human and relational here, simultaneously in the vastness, the incomprehensible vastness. Are your illnesses and troubles few? In spirit and energy, are you well? And are your bodhisattvas and shravakas at peace? How is it going down here on earth, Shakyamuni? He says, well, yeah, we're just here. This is it. This is the world we practice in. You may think in your billions and billions of shining light worlds that this is a troublesome little place, but I want to tell you this is exactly the right place to be. He really affirms it. Okay, so then we know that they all say their Buddhas would like to see the great stupa opened. Now it's like, what's going on in that thing? And Shakyamuni rises up. I was thinking, so we're on the ground. The energy comes up from the ground. Can you feel it rise up your spine? And can you feel the top of your head rise up and feel its interconnection with infinite vast space? This is embodied. This is Zazen Buddha body. So I just went, Shakyamuni Buddha rises up. And with his right hand, opens the door, the loud sound that we talked about, clunk. So it opens for everybody. And the whole assembly can see abundant treasures sitting there, can see the truth of the one heart of the universe, that we all are abundant treasure, can see love, can see no separation, a world of interdependence. And Abundant Treasures says, whoa, that's pretty good, Shakyamuni. Well done. You have preached it in a way that people are getting this in their bodies, are experiencing the truth of that which the Lotus Sangha is preaching. And then Abundant Treasures says, well, hey, don't just stay down there, Shakyamuni and me up here. Let's get together here. Let's come completely together. So Suzuki Roshi. The historical and the ultimate, right here. So, Shakyamuni joins him. And then everybody here on earth wants to rise up too and see. And so Shakyamuni says, of course you can do this. We're here on the earth and we are also spiritual beings. We are also Buddhas. We all have Buddha eyes. So Shakyamuni raises them up too. And says then, who is going to be able to teach this when I'm dead and gone? The importance of skillful means. None of this makes any difference at all if there aren't human beings who commit, bodhisattvas who commit to being this on this earth. In this troublesome, messy, wondrous, fighting earth. Who's going to keep saying, you know what? It's true, and there's a lot more going on here than you think. Okay. I wanted to read you this about appearances. So the Buddha, suddenly who we thought was just one Buddha, becomes infinite Buddhas. And there are infinite transformation bodies. It's like billions and billions, incomprehensible. Thich Nhat Hanh says, this part of the Lotus Sutra is concerned with appearance. In order to be able to reach the minds of human beings who are still attached to our perception of the historical dimension of reality, the world of birth and death, coming and going, existence and non-existence, the Buddha appeared as an historical person called Shakyamuni, and appeared to be born, and appeared to realize the path, and to teach the Dharma for 40 years, and then to disappear into nirvana. But this manifestation of the Buddha, Shakyamuni, was only a kind of skillful pretense to enter the world of human beings in order to help them to find liberation. Then Thich Nhat Hanh talks about a leaf. In terms of the historical dimension, a leaf was born on a branch as a new green bud in spring that clung to that branch for many months and changed color in autumn, and one day when a cold wind blew it, it fell to the ground. But looking deeply into its ultimate dimension, we can see that the leaf is only pretending to be born, to exist for a while and to grow old and die. The teachings of interdependence and no self reveal to us the true unborn and undying nature of all phenomena. One day that leaf will pretend to be born again on the branch of another tree. She is really just playing a game of hide and seek with us. I got the leaf, I got the leaf. Wait a minute. Maybe that's not the whole leaf. And then he goes on to say that's what we human beings do. You think you're born and you die? But then when causes and conditions are sufficient, the passing away was just a pretense and she will appear in one form or another. Ultimately, nothing is lost. So just as the lifespan of a Buddha is limitless, so too the lifespan of all beings is limitless in the ultimate dimension. It's been going on forever. And birth, death goes on forever. And the teaching goes on forever. And we just get a little fixated on this world. Which, please, let's pay attention here. Let's take care of this earth. Let's take care of each other. But it's so easy to get excited. Woo! It's so easy to get depressed. Oh God, it's a mess. Just have to keep breathing in and out and practice, because practice is the manifestation of the reality that everything is in time and timeless, and that there is space from here to there, and it's so much bigger than we think. Okay, now the amazing thing is, that was all just a review. That wasn't amazing enough. Okay, so there's all these bodhisattvas here who have come they've come down, they're sitting on their lion seats, this whole display and awakening of affirmation of limitless one heart love. The bodhisattvas are so inspired. They say, how can we help, Buddha? You're down here on this little planet, which we've noticed is, kind of little compared to our big shining world. And we're here. We'd really like to help. And you know what the Buddha says? You'd think the Buddha would say, yeah, man, I can use all the help I can get. You guys are big and shining and whoa. The Buddha says, no, thank you. Because I have everything I need already right here. Right, brings it right back down to earth. Because in this world already there are many bodhisattvas here, as many as there are sands of 60,000 Ganges rivers. Woo! And they, here, we, will be the ones to carry on with Shakyamuni Buddha, protecting and embracing and reading and reciting and teaching the living sutra. So we don't skip reading some of this directly. And when the Buddha had said this, the earth of this 3,000 great thousand-fold world trembled and split open, and from, wait a minute. So we've already got all the Buddhas on their lion thrones, and then the earth shakes again, and everything shakes, and then the world splits open, and from it innumerable tens of millions of billions of bodhisattva great ones sprang up all together. So there's even more, but they're coming up from the earth. Instead of coming from these ultimate dimensions, they're coming up out of this very earth. Boop, 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 like spring, seeds coming up. And they're all golden-hued bodies, the 32 characteristics and immeasurable radiance. And previously, these bodhisattvas had been living in a world of empty space below this world. And when these bodhisattvas heard the sound of the voice of Shakyamuni Buddha preaching, they appeared from below. So man, they're just coming from everywhere. But these are coming from the earth dimension, not from cosmos dimensions. And each of these bodhisattvas is a leader of a huge group. So they bring even more. You know what they did? When these bodhisattvas had emerged from the earth, they just went up in the air to the wonderful stupa. And then they bowed and they prostrated themselves. And then they bowed and prostrated themselves to all the Buddhas that had appeared in the cosmos. You might think this would take a long time, but it says it only took 50 small eons for all of this to happen. But you know how it happened? But it had seemed like, but by the divine powers of the Buddha, it seemed to, it only happened in half a day. See, this may seem like I'm going on, but it's really only happening in half a minute. Okay. They are led by 4 leaders. The 4 leaders are superior practice, unlimited practice, pure practice, and firm practice. They're all practitioners. They are all firmly grounded in unlimited, pure, beautiful. They're just completely devoted to practice. That's what bodhisattvas are. They're completely devoted to practice. And then, you know what they do, the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha again, these Buddhas and these Bodhisattvas, they say to Shakyamuni Buddha, how are you? How you doing? Aren't you tired down here? Isn't this difficult being down here? Is the world honored one at ease with few ailments and troubles? In teaching all the living, are you free from weariness? And are all the living readily accepting your teachings? Don't they make the world honored one tired? And you know what? The Buddha just says, no, there's lots of different skillful means, and I just meet each person exactly where they are, and it's all just fine. It's really okay. It's just happening the way it needs to happen. Now, Maitreya in the other assembly, you might imagine, there's doubt. This is really important, because if you're doubting any of this, I want you to know that the big assembly was also doubting and saying, what's going on here? Who are these, and where did they come from? And Shakyamuni Buddha explains, and this is what's really, really important here, is that he has been teaching and leading these bodhisattvas down under the earth ever since sitting under the Bodhi tree, since awakening and began to turn the Dharma wheel. And he says, these bodhisattvas of the earth right here, they are my children living in this world, and they will all become Buddhas. When you do an ordination ceremony, it says you are now a child of the Buddha. You're children of Buddha. We are all sitting in Buddha's lap. We are all completely here. Okay, so now we're into chapter 16. The heart of this part of it is the lifetime of the Buddha and the Tathagata is not what we thought, any more than the lifetime of who we are is what we think. And what the Buddha says, and he says it 3 times, you have to have faith in and understand the truthful words of the Tathagata. So there's an act of faith that happens here, and an act of understanding that's beyond, I want to understand it with my mind. You have to be able to let go of ideas and vow to keep looking deeply. That's the act of faith. It's not act of faith in something or someone. I vow to keep looking deeply. What is it? What's true? What's really going on here? So then, the Buddha begins to explain his limitless lifespan. Excuse me, I have all my little props here. Thich Nhat Hanh, can we conceive of such vastness of time and space? Our little planet Earth, if it were ground into dust, would give us so many trillions of grains of dust. But here the Buddha speaks of, and this is part in the Lotus Sutra, the number of grains of dust that would result from an infinite number of trichliocosms, great trichliocosms of worlds, infinite worlds. And after this amount is distributed in one direction, one particle of dust at a time, you travel in the other direction. Can you imagine sowing seeds, just throwing them out in each direction, infinitely little particles of dust? And you keep doing this until you have deposited all the incalculably vast numbers of particles of dust. The time required to do this is the amount of time since Shakyamuni Buddha realized Buddhahood until now. In 40 years, how did he do this? And the Buddha says, I have been living in this Saha world for this great incalculable period of time, teaching the Dharma to innumerable living beings, and I have also been in an equally vast number of other world spheres, teaching and helping beings. How could this be? The lifespan of the Buddha is not only spoken of in terms of time, but also space. Immeasurable, infinite dimensions of time and space that are beyond the reach of intellectual conceptualization. So our idea of the Buddha as a purely historical person who lived 2,500 years ago, who passed into nirvana and is no longer able to be present here with us and now, is a misperception. And what the Buddha does is use skillful means. And one of the skillful means was, I had to let you think I had a short lifespan and that I was born and I died. Because if you thought I was going to be around forever, and you knew this was my true body, you probably would have just not paid much attention. It's like, if I thought you were going to be around here forever, I wouldn't notice that Marilyn is here, and she has an infinite lifespan. And so do you, and so do you. So how are we going to take care of each other? Not to mention, I have an infinite life. Oh my God, that's terrifying. No. You know, we're going to die. Everything. And that's amazing, because it means don't waste a minute. Pay attention. So, earth. It's all rising up out of the earth. It's just all these little seeds. It is just like spring. It's like the rain comes, the Dharma rain comes, pop, 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 pop. Then the cycles happen. Things are born and then they die. But there's amazing fertility and creativity right here. Wonder. The immanence, the energetic potential of Buddha nature in the ground of the earth and in everything. And it's rooted right here in our daily life and in our daily cares and concerns. That's where and how we water the seeds. Pop! Bodhisattvas in me, coming out of my little cells and my ears, and you guys out of the top of your heads, and just popping up everywhere. And you just never know. Just somebody being kind in a grocery store line. You just don't know. Or a word, or thought, or setting up the altar. I mean, it's expressed in 100 million different kinds of ways. To really love and follow the Buddha is to love and care for the world. There's no separation. And to love and care for others is at the same time the devotion to the Buddha and to embodying the Lotus Sutra alive here on this earth. Completely together in the stupa. So, who is this entrusted to when Shakyamuni Buddha dies? Who never really dies, but who appeared to die to get our attention? It's us. And everything is preaching to us, and we are preaching to it, and it will go on forever. The Lotus Sutra is alive. We embody it and bring it to life. It's an affirmation of human life, positive regard for human beings. It's the Bodhisattva way, and it means seeing each person as Buddha. Even the ones where we think, I'm sorry, you're a terrorist. I don't get it. Just keep looking. Because somebody has to keep looking. Somebody has to keep saying, yes, and live in the contradiction and the paradox, and to just keep opening our hearts and our eyes. And skillful means is, what is the most appropriate response? How do we meet those parts of ourselves and the world? So, firm practice. Remember the 4 leaders? Firm practice, pure practice, unlimited practice, superior practice. Maybe it was Thich Nhat Hanh, I can't remember. Affirms these as the Bodhisattva vows. The leaders are all living embodiments of the Bodhisattva vow. Firm practice is, I vow to save all beings. I vow continuous practice. Pure practice. I vow to end all delusions. Precepts. waking up, studying our hindrances. Mara, I see you. Unlimited practice. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Life. Yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. And superior practice. Not superior to any one, but superior practice is I vow to become it. I vow to over and over again affirm the one vehicle. Notice when I'm getting pulled into separation and take a breath and come back to one. What is it? So the Buddha says, these children of the Buddha have learned the Bodhisattva way well and are untainted by worldly things, just as the lotus flower emerges from the earth. Why don't you just turn to each other in twos? What's this have to do with your life? What's this have to do with this time on the earth right now? What's this have to do with this fall day? Just 10 minutes, just talk together, and I'm going to put you guys in groups of two.